Wait, where is my PlayStation camera? Alright, I fixed it. Hello everybody, I'm Xiphos Fraznoir. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. I'm going to make a rematch with Odion the third time. Also, I built a powerful deck since that tournament, and before it, I've been seeing mightier decks like Fluffle decks and all that, how quick they win. Also, pendulums and stuff like that. So I decided to build up a deck that could go against that. So I'm going to test it. I did test it out on a tutorial which is from the first series in a normal duel. But I'm going to show you guys how it's going to get tested out on Odion. Because Odion's somewhat hard. Well, actually, he's easy, but he's hard for me. He might be easy to beat with the deck I just built. So I built this Drawdown Deck. The Xiphos Drawdown Deck. Basically what it is I'm about to show you how that deck works. Here's the Drawdown Deck, and I'm going to would have to go first or second. I could go either way, so I might do this randomly. I'm going first. If I lose the second time, and you get to see how it works. Or I could do it twice. Alright, so I got these cards. Each time a monster can control... No, wait, hold on. So basically, if I inflict battle damage to my opponent discards one card randomly from his hand. That's good. But in other words, I have magic cylinders. I don't want to use those yet, so I'm going to use this. After that, I'm going to summon this card. Next, I'm going to get this card ready. Now let's bring on the surprise. Now that card's all set on the field. I only need one of those. I have 3 of them, but at a time. Because I have 5 magic and trap zones. And it's still attacked. I don't get why this didn't work, but it's alright. Alright, the next thing is, since I'm going to get Disper in this level, I'm going to use the Cup of Ace to see what I get. He draws 2. And why do I use Cup of Ace? Like, well, you'd be like, hey, Xiphos, ain't that card terrible to have? Well, that's not what the Drawdown Deck's for. It's for that, and I'm going to explain why. So, let's get to the end phase. As you can tell, like, if you think about it, discard one random card from my opponent's hand. And why should my opponent draw 2? I wanted him to draw 2 because I have 60 cards and he has 40. So, he's going to declare an attack. I use this card. No, I don't want to activate that card. Only one at a time, guys. Then the next card. I just got a trophy called Effect Elitist. But I'm going to use this card to keep me safe. But I am going to get rid of Swords of the Concealing Light and replace it with something else because I didn't think that wouldn't work. Supposedly it's supposed to keep me safe. I don't know why, but anyways. Now I got Bistro the Butcher, but these cards are strong. And here's why. When this card inflicts battle damage to my opponent's life points, my opponent draws 2 cards. So this was a bad test run, but I guess if I try again and replace the cards I have, I'm going to show you what the deck looks like. And it doesn't have many monsters in it. But I do have Swords Revealing Light. So I'm going to bring that on the field. And see if it gets negated, so I'll make sure I remember what cards he had the last time I dueled him. I didn't recheck the videos I did before, so I'm just going to surrender at this point. And I'm going to head back to the deck edit. So I'm going to head to the breakdown deck. I'm going to get those 3 cards rid of because they're not that great. Bring in Nightmare Steel Cage and a level limit area B. So I'm going to have one of those. And the next thing I need is, let's see here. Okay, so that skips my next turn. You know what? Let's get one of those. Let's get one of those cards. That should be alright. Alright, so we're gonna head to the Dualist challenges again. I'm going back against Odion with the Drawdown Deck. I'm gonna show you why this card is so good and why it's so, like, the deck's the best, but it can only do one main thing in order to win. And there's a hypothetical way, there's a side way. Let's see what he does first. So he's gonna go first, I'm gonna go second. Perfect. Okay, so when an opponent draws for a normal draw in their draw phase, your opponent discards 1 card they just drew, which I'm going to put on the field. Next thing I'm going to do is Hard the Underdog. During your draw phase, when you draw a normal monster, reveal it and then draw 1 more card. I'm going to get that set up. And I won't get many monsters, I'm going to be honest, but here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get Magic Mallet up next and see what I draw. And the good thing about that card I just put in there is the reason that my opponent can draw 2 cards. And why is this deck based on opponents drawing cards? Until his deck gets to 0, that's the goal. So when he has 0 cards in his deck and then I end my turn, he loses and I win. So I'm going to keep that card in my hand for now. Alright, so Appropriate's a good thing to have. I need that more importantly. And, okay, so how it works is, activates only when your opponent draws a card except during their draw phase. So I'm going to save Cuff of Ace for later and wait the next turn. So wait. And nothing happens, so I'm going to have to end my phase to activate it. And see, he destroys that card, so I'm left with this card. And he discarded it. Now he has less cards on his hand. The first time I tested it, it won, but I never tested it on Odion yet. Basically, his cards can destroy the spells. So what if I make him draw more cards or I draw 2 more? Alright. Now, Nightmare Steel Cage and the Robin Goblin. So right here, and this one can't attack because it's weak. But if it does get destroyed, then I'm going to have to use this trump card I have. Okay, got destroyed. And he's got more cards on his hand. Well, there's the advantage. If he keeps doing that and he has more cards on his hand, he'll discard all those cards if he has over the limit of cards he's supposed to have. So every turn, if he has, like, let's say he has 10 cards on his hand every turn, he will lose all those cards every turn except for the cards he has to keep onto his hand. So that's the good advantage right there. Now I would have to use this. Next, I'm going to summon... Let's see, this will bring his cards up to 7. but it's not strong. So if he does inflict damage, then he will have 7 cards in his hand. But I'm not going to summon it yet. There's no time for it. So I'm going to have to end my phase. And he destroys that. Now let's try again. So I'm going to keep doing that rebuild. I'm going to go back to this. Alright, so here's what I'm going to show you. 3 cups of aces. 2 dangerous machine type 6. This is the most essential piece of the deck. This is what you need right here. These 5 things. Hand destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard and then draw 2 cards. And Heart of the Underdog is only so you have enough cards. And level limit area B is going to be very important to have. As well as level modulation. You need 3 of these because you have this essential pieces such as the level cards. These level 4 magicians. The magical mallet. Well, basically it shovels any number of cards from your hand into your deck and draw the same number of cards. So you can put any amount in a controlled way. What's not controlled, which is I'm about to show you at where I have to find out where it is. Reload right here. Add all cards into your hand to your deck and shuffle it, then draw the same number of cards you have added to your deck. The reason I have that is here's how this card works. If it's my opponent's turn, and let's say I have 5 cards I am not interested in having, I could quick use it while it's my opponent's turn. And because if he has cards that would beat me and I don't have the cards for the next turn I might need to advantage of, I would have that card prepared before it is my turn. So whatever cards I end up with the next turn, I will be able to use against them. Shard of Greed is not really essential, but you might need these for certain things if you want to get through the game. Storage of Vanilla Light is going to be very important to have, but more importantly, that's not the most important thing. What's important is Gravity Bind. You're going to need that, because you'll have this card, Neospatial Glow Moss, and you have to combo it. So if he has a weaker monster and attacks your Glow Moss, and you do it with Magic Cylinder, you'll have the advantage, because that way, each time your card gets attacked, your opponent will keep drawing cards until he keeps drawing them. So if he attacks my thing 3 times, I use 3 of these, he would draw 3 cards, and I attacked him, and would say he draws a card and it's a monster. My battle is canceled from him. It's because my monster don't have to fight a monster that would like wipe out my life points. I could just like skip that, and he'll draw a card anyways until his deck drops to 0. So, with Rigorous Weaver, I can flip it, and each player discards 1 card, and this card is destroyed by battle. The monster that destroyed it loses 500 attack defense. It's not really essential to what I should have, but it should be good to have if I'm going to get one of my players' unique cards. Next thing is this. I can flip it to make my opponent draw 3 cards. Both players look at the cards. If there are any spell cards among them, discard all those spell cards. So that's only on my opponent's side. If he has spell cards, he drew like 3 spell cards, he lose them all. So I have 2 of these cards. Destiny Hero Defender. If I have him face up in defense position, he'll draw cards every turn. So if I had all of them on the field, every turn he'll draw like approximately for between like 1 to 5 or 3 to 5, let's say 5 to 6 or 7 or more than that. And he has a lot of cards on his hands. Let's say he has like so many, he has to hold it like this. They'll all drop down until his cards hit to 0, and I will win the duel. So I'm going to show you how this deck works. But one more thing is more important is you need the Gift of Greed, because you're going to need this for your deck if you're going to build the Drawdown Deck. Your opponent draws 2 cards. You might think, well, this is a bad card. Well, not really if you're trying to drain your opponent's deck to 0. That's going to be very important to have. Because if he draws cards until he has 0 cards in his deck and it's his turn afterwards, he'll lose. Because remember, it takes certain cards to win, Exodia to win, drain your opponent's life points to win, and the other one is make sure your opponent loses all his cards in his deck to win. That's other ways to win, so there's multiple ways. So if I had, okay, so there's a certain card I need to get, and I want to make sure I replace certain cards I don't need. Okay, I do not need a certain card. What would be? Let's see. Okay, so this will make my opponent gain 1,000 life points and he draws 1 card. But wait, that's me drawing 1 card, so I'm going to be needing that, but I don't care about my opponent's life points at this point. So, I'm going to be needing that to win. Anyways. Where did I add a certain card? Okay, so I added an extra limit thing, so let's do... Let's say, let's get a certain card I need. United. No, I might not need that certain card, but what I'm going to need is Mage Power. So Mage and add Power with the P. Quicker and get that all set. Next thing is I'm going to need the United Restand. And here we go. Add that to the side deck. Next thing I need is, let's see, Needle Wall. Oh, Needle Wall's not going to be essential, but you're going to need it if, let's say, he has cards that will help him out. Add that to the side. And you only need 14 cards in your side deck. If you add the 15, you'll be able to switch them out if you're in, like, those match duels where you can swap side deck cards to your main deck. You're not going to need extra cards. But if you want extra cards, you guys could do that. But I wouldn't say you'd be needing extra cards eventually. Like, let's say that if you do extra cards and you're only going for the Exceeds or the Synchro, that's going to mess up the drawdown. So you're going to need to go with what you have for the recipe. So it has to be very specific of how you're going to use it. Now let's go back to that challenge. Let's see, Odion. Odion's right there, Drawdown Deck. And I did some re-editing so it works better. So I tested out on the first tutorial in normal duel, and it worked, so it won the first try. So I haven't tried it on Odion. I'm going to keep improving it until it gets better, so I'm going to make sure it wins. Okay, so I want to have the chance to draw a card, so I'm going to go second. Whatever card he has is gonna help me out. But if I go first, I'm gonna have Silent Magician on my side with some other card. Alright, perfect. Okay, so I have hand destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, then draw 2 cards. Well, if I have 2 cards I do not want, okay, so I have decided I'm going to save that card for later. Or if it's going to annoy me, let's just use it anyways. Hold on. Alright, so I want to get rid of Drop Off. And let's get rid of... You know, I'm not going to need Show of Greed, so there's no point. And look, I got Upstart Goblin, so I'm going to use that card. He's gained life points, but wait. Limit level... Wait, this changes all things to face down. This is level 2, so I don't have to worry. So I'm going to activate this card to keep things down. Next, I'm going to have this card activated. Next one will be this. I'm going to set this card. Now we're talking, so I'm going to end my turn. Now he's at the advantage because he has Mystical Typhoon. He has to draw 3 cards, and if they're all spells, he loses them all. Looks like they're all monsters. I get the feeling that the Gravekeeper deck is so cheap. Alright, so here's the good advantage. I'm going to set this card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Appropriate next. And I'm going to put down Magic Cylinder for a chance to win. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to let him attack Hero Shadow Scout. I'm going to give him the chance to do it. Go ahead, destroy it, if you need to. Yep, draw all those cards, and you're gonna lose one of them. Thank you. And here we go. That went straight to you. Well, I'm not using it to damage his life points, but to shield me from, like, attacks that might try to lose my chances. So here's the card I need. Dangerous Machine Type 6. And remember, at this point, life points are not going to be that important. And at this point, I lost, so I'm going to try again. So, you guys get the point of why I built this deck so far. Like, if you have, like, for example, between the range of basic decks to the most OP decks, certain cards from the middle could, like, for example, like a rock, paper, scissors thing. Like, basic could beat, like, the normal could beat, like, the advance, or it could go backwards anyways, but it could go, like, around a circle from both ways, depending on what kind of deck you built. So it could be a reverse rock, paper, scissors, or a forward rock, paper, scissors. That's the deal I'm going for, but if I do the Odion thing again, and the next time I duel, let's go, second to go. Alright, so his cards have to shrink in his deck, mostly. He has Necro Valley. And I also got Reload. That card ain't gonna get annoying pretty soon. Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. So he has strong cards, but certain ones would be the most powerful. I want to do this before I do Swords of Veiling Light. And let's say Shard of Greed might be a little okay. Let's do Shard of Greed for now. I am not gonna chain it yet. Because the next card I summon... Come on, attack my monster! Yes, now he's face up. That means he'll lose every card he has in his deck. But no, he'll have it on his hand, but that's the point. He'll still... Never mind. He still lost life points, don't worry about it. Anyways. I don't want to use that card yet. Alright, now we got the card we need on our hand. Let's see, Neospatian Glow Moss. Next one will be this card. And Swords Revealing Light to keep me alive. And if he uses a certain card, he would have to destroy either of them, so... let's go ahead and end our turn. And see, the reload thing does work during my opponent's turn. Alright, so I'm gonna draw cards. Okay, and this is the reason why I should use reload. Okay, wait, so gamble. Gamble's not really a card I want to use at the moment. I could do the reload with that, see if I get any other cards, which is a good thing to have. Alright, so next one I will try is, let's see, maybe I should use... I won't use Neospatial Glow Moss yet. But I will use Hero Scout, because if he draws more cards, then my Silent Magician will get stronger. And I want to test it out first, see if it works out. So I'm going to try to flip summon. None of them were spells. And it looks like it did get stronger, but not by 3, by 1, I would say. And I don't know how long my Swords Revealing Light will last. So I'm going to set one more card. And here's the fun part. Now I get to use reload. Now that card will no longer bug me. So now I'm stuck with these 3 cards. But I still have Shard of Greed. And here's the best part. This will turn all face down level 4s, but the problem is if I do that, my Silent Magician will be face down. But if it does get stronger, how about, let's say, okay, the max is 5. It's at 3 so far. 2 more will bring it to be stronger than the Gravekeeper's Visionary. But do I want to destroy Visionary? So I'll just wait one more turn and see what happens. I don't know how many Mystical Typhoons that guys have, but I'm just gonna use Nightmare Steel Cage now. This will skip my turn if I do it wrong. Let me think. Maybe I'll hold on to another turn. But I do want to draw more cards, so let's use this card now. Flip this into defense since I'm no longer needing that card. Now it's stronger. What is it asking me to do? Okay, here we go. I don't get how I would still be able to attack, but let's find out why. Okay, so it's time to level up this monster. Now I use this. And let's attack that visionary. Oh wait, I can't attack because it just got summoned. Oh yeah, Nightmare Steel Cage. Well, this deck is pretty new to me since I just made it today, but it's alright. Okay, so I need to get rid of his, well, mostly I have to go after his weakest card because it's a level 3, so if I were to use this now, it'll leave me at a disadvantage. I gotta think what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I'm just gonna go to battle phase. Now there's a reason why I should use it. Okay, so I drained his deck down to 23 so far. Let's try that again. Oh, good. Get that card all set, and then get this card. Next, I'm gonna need this card. Next one will be when the opponent declares. Okay, I'm gonna get this card in the field. And the last one will be this card. Now, see, I got all 5 cards on the field. Try to see this card right here. Should I use Magic Cylinder right now? Hold on. Well, I didn't get to use Dark Scheme, but I guess I could wait another monster to attack. They're like weak, so they shouldn't do that much damage. Okay, now for Dark Scheme. Oh yeah, when you hit a 6 with that card gets destroyed by itself. So you gotta avoid like the 6th roll or something like that on that card. Alright, so I'm gonna put Gift of Greed on the field. And good thing I have Magic Cylinder right there, because there's only one monster right there. Oh, he's gonna have more cards on his hand? Well, that's not a smart move. I can see myself draining all those cards from his hand. Yeah, it looks like I got a bad, the first 3 hands, I would say. Oh, I lost. Alright, so if it loses one more time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-edit the Drawdown Deck until it works perfectly. So I'll make sure I made the perfect Drawdown Deck. Is there 2 cards I do not need on my hand? You know, Bubble Crash is a good card to have. Because it does field and hand for the total of 5 on both fields. But there's no reason of having that card at the moment, so I'm going to use this. And since I put the level 4 Magician in there, I'm going to wait for that 1 card to use where I could special summon it and my opponent draws 2 more cards. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do, maybe Silent Magician would be a good idea to do right now. Next will be the Cup of Ace. Okay, I drew the 2 cards. Get these 2 on the field, and let's bring... You know what? I want him to have a less chance of getting rid of my cards. So let's spice things up. If I drew a monster, I'll get 2 more cards. Even I'll have 3 cards in my hand. Nope, I drew a trap, which is bad. But I still get to use it. I still need to draw a monster. Okay, so I don't have 2 cards in my hand. You know what? Let's do it. Let's see if we get rid of his 2 cards he has. Oh, never mind. Okay, so he has a Gravekeeper's Heretic. It's level 4. This one does the level 4 or higher monsters. Swords Veiling Light. Now I can see what card he has. And it looks pretty strong. I can tell that monster is either immune to spell. Oh, he is immune to spells. Wow. That's gonna make it a little harder. Okay. Just in case, let's use this card. I guess nothing bad happened yet. Oh, I get to destroy it. Oh, but instead he discards a card. I'm gonna be needing something different than the Cup of Ace right now. Perfect. Okay, so I'll draw one more card. And I'll set this card on the field. Okay, the bad thing is one of his monsters is immune to spells, so that's gonna make it difficult since I'm gonna be able to use like Nightmare Steel Cages and Swords of Veiling Light. Oh, he has a trap and a monster, but none of them are spells. Well, I'll be more aware about that trap he has on his hands, so I'm going to try to avoid that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do Nightmare Steel Cage, and if he deactivates that, then I'll have a chance with the next card I have. Of course he sets them. I would have to lose one of my cards. I would say level modulation. First Shard of Greed. Of course he uses it. Now I use Nightmare Steel Cage. Put this in defense position and I have Magic Cylinder. I'm very quite sure one of his monsters is immune to spells. If I'm gonna keep going for his Visionary, he loses that card. And let's see, okay, so 500 attack with 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4,000. No, wait, my mistake. I'm sorry, I'm doing stupid math. Smart math would be 2,000. So I would say 2,000, 2,650 for Hero's Shadow Scout. But I'm not gonna use it yet. I'm gonna wait out for the next turn. Yeah, I was right to wait for the next turn. Oh no, wait. Maybe I should have used Magic Cylinder at one time, because if you think about it, with Mage Power on Hero, like if he used a Mystical Typhoon on the Mage Power, he would have gotten rid of that. We'll have Nightmare Steel Cage. But in other words, now I get to use Magic Cylinder. Okay, that card is destroyed. Okay, I'm gonna face this down, and hopefully I get level modulation. Oh yeah, I'm gonna surrender this duel since I didn't win. Okay, so he has a spell or monster or trap that could like negate spells, destroy spells, and be immune to spells. So I want to look for a card that could go against that. What card should it be is what I was wondering. Let's see, I want to look for cards related to it. Do I have any more of those heroes? Well, I guess I'll test it out on another day or another time. But anyways, guys, that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching. And I didn't finish this round. This was the third rematch round, but it was a failure. I guess it's going to be a round 4 if I do get a chance. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Let's go!